this is where it is, mate.
Yeah.
The fight camp. This is where it's happening. We were just having a little joke in the office, you saying, you fancy a little run out on the 22nd of August? You were half tempted, weren't you? But not the ring we're going to use on the night. Obviously, this is a lot smaller and we will be back a little bit. But you get the feeling. What do you think it's going to be like when you're coming out here? Well, I mean, this is light, obviously. 7 o'clock, 8 p.m, summertime. It's going to be light. You're going to come down those stairs, completely different environment. You're going to be up for it. I mean, I know you keep saying once you get punched in the face, but I don't know.
It's all going to feel a bit strange. You know, you're obviously going to have one side coming from that side, one side coming from this side. It's all going to feel a bit weird and strange, but it will get real quick. That's the thing. So as I say, once someone gets punched, you switch on. And if you don't switch on, then your lights get turned out. So they better be ready. It's a fascinating environment. It's just, it's got me thinking, how is this going to work when I'm standing here?
That's what I've been thinking for about 3 months. But what I wanted to do, like some people have brought boxing back in a studio. I just don't feel like that's the environment to do it. But more importantly, some people have come back, and I understand being a promoter's got to get all kinds of talent out, but you've got to come back with good fights.
Yes.
Especially you haven't got the crowd, you haven't got the energy. So it's got to be non-stop action. It's got to be wall-to-wall content. Week 1, when we talk about that, the first fight we're kicking off with is 2 guys that I'm very fond of. One guy I know you're particularly fond of. Jordan Gill against Reece Bellotti. Big fight for both. And I think the great thing for boxing now is Jordan Gill was supposed to have a 6 or an 8 rounder at the O2. And basically I've said, if you want to fight a fight camp, you've got to fight Reece Bellotti.
Yes.
Him and Dave Coldwell said, no problem.
That's exactly what you want from your fighters. Someone who's willing to face anyone, anywhere, anytime. There's never a better time to face him, in my opinion. You know, Reece Bellotti has had a couple of defeats. You know, he's had a bit of a tough time. Also, Jordan is now, he's not undefeated anymore. He's going to have to bounce back from what, you know, the defeat he suffered. There's so many questions still to be answered, I think, from both fighters. Bellotti is quite a big puncher in that weight division. And Jordan, for me, is almost the complete package. He can do everything.
You know,
Jordan
that loss,
Gill.
I know that he wasn't well on fight week, but do you think sometimes for an opponent that takes a little bit of that facade away from Jordan Gill, where he's looked $1 million and he headlined and he's fast and he's raised like, then all of a sudden you see him crumble to the floor from headshots and body shots. If you're Reece Bellotti, are you thinking, you know, we all know Reece Bellotti is going to get outboxed by Jordan Gill. But are you just thinking back to when you saw him in that position, going down, and you're thinking, I've just got to work this guy over? It's got to be the tactics of Reece Bellotti.
It works both ways. I understand what you're saying, as Reece Bellotti will be looking at Jordan Gill now. He's damaged goods, I can get to him, I've seen him hurt. But then on the flip side is Jordan Gill no longer has big pressure on this zero. So Jordan Gill will go in there completely relaxed. If anything, it's going to bring the best out in Jordan Gill. He won't feel such a massive pressure on, I've got to look good, I've got to win. He knows he just has to turn up and do the job on Reece Bellotti. And he can do that, he really can. You know, he has, as I said, talented, a brilliant athlete, a fantastic athlete, and in my opinion, one of the best coaches in the country, if not the best, in Dave Coldwell in his corner. There's not much that Dave doesn't know. Brilliant at figuring out game plans, doesn't leave anything to chance in the gym. You know, if you're prepared under Dave Coldwell, you better be prepared to go to the well in the camp, because you go there on numerous occasions. So I know Jordan Gill will be well prepared, and Reece Bellotti will be. I'm not sure if he's still with Jim McDonnell or not, but if he is still with Jim, he's going to be extremely fit.
Yeah, he's super fit.
That's one thing you can guarantee from the Jim McDonnell fight, an extremely fit individual, and someone who will not give in, because Jim doesn't tolerate fools. So it's an intriguing fight and one I'm looking forward to.
We've got Dalton Smith stepping up over 8 rounds. Good to see him moving on, and again, fight camp making him taking tougher fights than he should. I want to talk to you about a heavyweight fight on that card. 2 guys that you know, particularly one of them in Fabio Wardley against Simon Vallily. Fabio Wardley's kind of like on the fringe, on the verge of going into the Joe Joyces and the Dubois and those kind. You know, this is for the English heavyweight title. Exciting, but so is Simon Vallily. And we know that the one thing that's let Simon Vallily down over the years probably is his temperament, sometimes his work ethic, sometimes his mindset. Up at heavyweight, undefeated at heavyweight, he's tough, isn't he? And he can punch. You've done many rounds with him as well.
I used to have him for numerous camps. For both David Hay fights, I had him in as a sparring partner. He would be absolutely electric for 3 or 4 rounds, and I would, you know, like to get him in and out, in and out. Sometimes I would try and do the full 6 to 8. He's a handful, he really is. Wardley is someone that we haven't seen enough of, but he looks exciting. You know, he can punch, obviously. He's big for the weight. The thing with Simon Vallily is how will he adapt under pressure? And he's always had that thing in the background of, you know, is he a bit weight drained? Because he was big for cruiserweight, he's massive. So now he's fighting a heavyweight, you know, you don't expect him to drain as quick as he did when he was at cruiserweight. And also, I think his punch power may increase a little bit more, because he wasn't the biggest puncher at cruiserweight, if I'm being totally honest. But, you know, with a bit of extra weight on you, with a little bit of less dieting, he might gain a little bit more. So once again, it's a little bit of an intriguing match. You have to edge towards Wardley, but if Simon really can sort this out up here, because that's what holds him back, in my opinion. He's a brilliant athlete. You know, he's got a good boxing brain on him. He's not stupid. If he can sort what's going on up here, then I think he's got a chance with anyone.
British lightweight title was co-main event. Guy you commented on in James Tennyson when he boxed Craig Evans in Liverpool.
Yeah.
Big puncher. We've seen him move up from 130 pounds, become a little bit less frail where he was making weight. But I really think this guy is going to be a big problem at lightweight, James Tennyson.
I picked up on him, and I made comments on Sky when I commented on him a couple of times, and I said he looks weight drained and he's going down from certain body shots and stuff like that. And that is when I look back, I used to watch Shane Eddie as a kid when I was growing up, and Jimmy used to always get hurt off body shots, and it was because of the way he drastically used to cut down to the weight. Tennyson was very similar, in my opinion. Now that he's moved up, he looks fresh, he looks extremely powerful. I mean, he really does look like the real deal. This is another small test, but it's one I fully expect him to pass.
And the main event, one we wanted to just make sure that we had a banger. The egg v the cheese. It's not an omelette. Sam Eggington against Ted Cheeseman. It's just, again, like one of those fights where both guys went, oh, I'm up for fight camp. Yeah. And it's like, right, fucking hell. I looked at it, I thought, I don't really want to put Eggington in with Cheeseman. You know, my old man loves Sam Eggington. Yeah. Got Tony and Ted, like, but they're both like, I'm up for that fight. Yeah. So we know, guaranteed wall-to-wall action in Sam Eggington against Ted Cheeseman.
Anyone who looks at Sam Eggington, you watch him as a fighter and you think, I'll have a bit of him. It's easy, you know. But then it's a different ball game when you actually get in the ring with him, because the pressure doesn't stop. He's relentless. He keeps coming and coming. Cheeseman has a lot of skills. You know, he really is a nice boxer. He's got nice moves.
Against Fitzgerald. I mean, when he boxed Sergio Garcia, he used his face as defence. Against Fitzgerald, he boxed the fight people didn't expect him to, moving off the back foot. Some people even thought he should have won that fight as well. Do you think he's got to do the same against Eggington? I mean, you know, Sam will be outboxed, won't he? I mean, he's going to walk you down. He ain't going to do anything different. And when we've seen Sam step up to that level, like a Liam Smith, he just wasn't good enough, was he?
No, I mean,
but against Ted Cheeseman, you know, it's a bit like Bellotti against Gill. What kind of fight? It's all about. Seems to be about Gill and Cheeseman in those fights. Is Ted going to box off the back foot, pick him off, or is he going to want to stand on the inside and trade as well?
I think with Sam Eggington being so easy to hit, it's not going to be that hard trying to find Sam Eggington for Ted Cheeseman. But Ted Cheeseman isn't the biggest puncher. And that's what draws this towards being possibly fight of the night, because he will relentlessly keep coming and Cheeseman will just keep nailing him. And at some point, Cheeseman is going to have to stand. Can he take what Sam Eggington's got? I think he can. So it leads me to an absolute war at some point. I think first 3 or 4 rounds, he'll be completely outboxing Sam Eggington. But then once them 3 or 4 rounds pass, and once again, he's got a fantastic coach in Tony Sims, who will know that his guy can't run for 10 rounds, 12 rounds, whatever this is scheduled for. He knows that at some point he's going to have to stand, so they'll be prepared for both ends of the spectrum. The big thing here is Ted Cheeseman as good as he believes he is? We know Sam Eggington's level now. I'm unsure on Cheeseman.
Week 2, I think one of the most pleasing fighters, you know, to see the rise of for me has been Terry Harper. You know what I mean? Yeah. Great little relationship with Steffi Ball. Seeing those two come out of Doncaster, you know, they're like Cagney and Lacey, those two, you know, and it's like she comes out, she wins the world title, she beats Eva Wallstrom. People start getting behind her. Women's boxing's flying at the moment. First time in history that 2 Brits have fought for a world title. Wow. In the female division. Natasha Jonas, someone you know very well. Massive opportunity for her, and so much was expected of Tash when she came out of the Olympics with that bronze medal. But she's meeting a very confident Terry Harper and someone that really fancies it. She
is, and she has it all to do. Tasha had a bit of a disaster last year. You know, it was a tough year. But, you know, she's bounced back. She's found a way. And she's just got to get in there and get stuck in it. You know, as I say, this Harper girl can really fight. And I say, her back's against the wall here. But you can never write Tasha Jonas off. Tasha is a puncher in her division. She's a strong girl.
Big opportunity as well to become WBC World Champion. I mean, some people watching this may not know that you were once WBC World Champion. Tony,
very
well,
funny, Ed. Very funny.
But it is like, you know, that is the ultimate, isn't it? So
of course, it's the ultimate belt. It's the belt that all fighters want. That's what you want, you know. It's the dream belt. It's the belt that signifies dominance in boxing. It's the belt that you're seeing Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Sugar Ray Leonard, that could go on and all these fighters, Floyd Mayweather. The one belt they hold above everything else is that green and gold belt. And That's why so many
I'm
fighters
so happy
chase
that
it.
we could say we've staged a world title fight in the garden, in the back garden. Do you know what I mean?
It's just, as I say, we look around here and it's going to be fascinating. The lights shining down, the backdrop, the view looking from here
Last
onto
time
there.
you were here was my old man's 70th birthday. Do you remember that night, Tony?
Oh yeah, I don't remember much of it,
I
but
do.
it was
He
a
gave
good
me a
night.
dead leg that lasted 4 weeks. But other Scouser on that bill as well.
Yeah.
Tony Fowler. It's fighting a guy called Adam Harper. I know you don't know too much around. Went the distance with Zarafa in Australia. Okay. Very tough. He's basically been plaguing me, this kid. He wants to fight everybody. He don't stop coming forward, which is probably a style that you feel is going to help Fowler. Do you feel with Fowler, though, that it's the difficulty of being stuck in between styles? We saw Dave Coldwell made a lot of changes to him. Yeah. And now he's down with Shane McGuigan. Even the Instagram stuff, you can see, you know, everything's different.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And are we going to get different from Fowler? By the way, do we fucking want different from Fowler? Because, you know, we loved the Fowler we saw in the amateurs, you know, in the WSBs. We know it was on and off, but my God, it was entertaining. Yeah.
Well, that's the Fowler you want, and that's the Fowler you signed. That's the one you've signed up for. That's the guy you want him. So, I don't know. With Anthony, he's a kid who works so hard in the gym. He really puts everything into it and he gives it everything he's got. This, on paper, is a perfect style matchup for him. This kid's going to come and fight him and meet him head on. I think Fowler blasts through him. I really do. Anyone who stands with Anthony is going to come unstuck. You know, you're going to have to box, move, create angles, set him traps. We see in the Fitzgerald fight, he can be vulnerable himself. I've always thought he was massive at the weight, and he is big at the weight, but I know he persistently says, I'll make weight easy, make weight easy. I'm not so sure it's as easy as he makes out.
You think he'll end up in the bigger fights of his career at middleweight?
I think he will as he gets a bit older.
I mean, you've got Cheeseman against Eggington winner. You've got the Fitzgerald rematch that everyone wants to see. For Liverpool, JJ Metcalf against Anthony Fowler. Big fight as well.
Huge fight. It really is. That'd be great if it can be made somewhere down the line. But he's just, I don't know, with Anthony, he's learning on the job. And you've now rose to a level where it's hard to be learning at this level. So, you know, you've got to be on it, you've got to be right. You've got to go into fight and fight to your strengths. You can't be going into fights like these and be practicing things that you've been working on in the gym. You've got to go in there and fight to your strengths, and you've got to make sure it works for you. So if Anthony's strengths are, which in my opinion are, let's go forward, make a fight of it. Try and move your head as best as you can, but don't let it all just be about your head moving, just get stuck in. And try and get it to be about...
That should be enough at this level,
It should be, but he needs to get into fights, Ed, where he goes, let's see who's got the biggest balls. Because I guarantee he's got a huge set of bollocks on. And he just fights all the way through. So, interesting matchup, but one I expect Anthony Fowler to come through with flying colours.
Two good young fighters on that card. Hopi Price with Dave Coldwell, and Akib Fayez, young fighter out of Manchester against Kane Baker's a great fight with Jamie Moore. I want to talk to you about the cruiserweights, your former World Championship division. Chris Billam-Smith against Nathan Thorley. Thorley is a very good amateur. Was in the Commonwealth Games with Gary Lockett, undefeated. But Billam-Smith's impressed you, hasn't he? I mean, obviously beat your fighter in Craig Glover, which was a gutter for you. But I like the look of Chris Billam-Smith.
He can fight, definitely. He's got a good, very, very good left hook, especially on the counter as well. Good footwork, big at the weight. Everyone was going on to me before he fought Craig Glover that, you know, how brave is he going to be when it gets tough? But, you know, against Craig, he didn't need to get brave. You know, he done the job in really good fashion. So it's an interesting
matchup.
Though,
against Hyde and against Riakporhe as well was a close fight as well. But when you look at that domestic division at the moment, it's brilliant, isn't it? I mean, for so long, the cruiserweight division domestically weren't that great. Now you've got a Coley, Riakporhe, Tommy McCarthy, Sam Hyde, Chris Billam-Smith, Thorley. I mean, all these guys. I think we're going to get some big fights. So Coley fighting for the world title, but you know, beneath those guys, Riakporhe looks good.
And that's a hard fight, by the way.
What, for a Coley? Yeah,
yes, that's a whole new level. That's a hard fight. But it's one I think he can come through. As I say, the cruiserweight division has been dormant for a little bit. You know, I've moved on and whatever have you. I jumped up to heavyweight and had my little mess around there. The guys who are there now, Coley's obviously the clear and outstanding #1. But with the right fights and with other people building, you know, I really rate Tommy McCarthy. I think he's a really good fighter. And another one who I've had in camp through the times. He just needs that break, that bit of luck. And I know he got it in Italy, you know, he's done really well.
He's now mandatory for the European title as well.
So, you know, that's a great stepping stone for him. The European title is very much overlooked by the current crop of fighters now, which I find disgusting, to be totally honest.
Do you not think that's because it's quite easy to get hold of an intercontinental belt?
Yeah, but since when has an intercontinental belt been above a European? It's just, it's stupid, it really is. And I say the European is a coveted belt. that. It's something that all the greats throughout time in the British history of boxing have all lifted. I was adamant that I always wanted to become a European champion, and luckily enough I got through against Matthias Masternak in a grueler of a fight. But that's what these fighters should be looking at. Lawrence Okole's gone the correct way. He's beat the right people at the right time, and now he's set himself in a position where he's ready for a world title fight. Don't get me wrong, it's still a big jump, but we're going to see if he's ready and how the other boys can develop.
Week 3 is a great middleweight match-up as main event. Felix Cash against Jason Wellborn. Wellborn's been around for ages, hasn't he? Boxed Liam Smith, boxed Frankie Gavin, and so all of a sudden come through. You know, look weak at light middleweight, but then look at the run he went on. He boxed Matthew Macklin in a great fight. He went and stopped Marcus Morrison. He boxed Jarrett Hurd 2 fights ago for the world title in America.
That's
so,
just
but
crazy.
Felix Cash, I think under Tony Sims, a big potential star at middleweight. We saw him in a thrilling fight with Jack Cullen, you know, to beat him in his backyard in Manchester. But good to see good young, fresh middleweights coming through.
He has ability, Felix Cash, but we just don't know where it's going to lead him yet, and that's the big thing. You know, we'll find out an awful lot in this fight. I think we'll find out more against Jason Wellborn than we will have in all his fights previously. You know, the Wellborn will ask questions of him. He asks questions of everybody. He's been in with a who's who in British boxing, so it's one I look forward to. Goes past 4 or 5 rounds, you know it's going to be a scrap. You know, if Wellborn can you know guide himself through them first few, because he does start slow. And Felix Cash does start quick, so you know you hope it's not a blowout, because I want to see the best of Felix Cash. I want to see what he's really about. If it gets into 4, 5, 6 rounds, then we're going to see the best of him.
I think you will. And one fight that just raised your eyebrow a little bit was our new signing, Zelfa Barrett, up from Manchester, against Eric Donovan, a guy that you went, well, Eric Donovan from the amateurs. He can fight. He can. Undefeated from Ireland. He's taken this fight. He stepped up to super feather from feather, but he's been in between weights. A lot of people looking at this fight and thinking, you know what, that's a good fight, a good test for Zelfa Barrett.
I've seen Eric Donovan box as an amateur over the years. He was very, very good, represented Ireland at the highest levels. Brilliant, brilliant amateur. Yes, this is a different sport completely, but it doesn't take away from what he was good at in the amateur boxing world. So, undefeated. Zelfa Barrett's a kid who's been going on the back burner for a long time. Underground shows, just plodding along quietly. I've heard so many good things about him. I've seen him a few times, and I've been impressed every time I've seen him, I can't lie. So I look forward to seeing what he can do. But, you know, make no mistake, this is not a gimme fight. Eric Donovan will come to scrap. You know, the Irish are proud and they fight till the finish, they really do. So I'm looking forward to seeing it, and let's see where Zelfa Barrett can go from here.
3 other fights on that card is Kieran Conway against Nav Mansouri, another really good super welterweight fight. Those guys are going to be in the mix for all those people we talked about. Also Shannon Courtenay, who's been a real revelation as female fighter, but never had a proper fight. She fights Rachel Bill, won't be familiar for you, but a very good, solid fighter from the Midlands, going to be coming in 8 rounds, going to be a tough, tough fight. And John Doherty as well. I don't know if you've seen John Doherty, Tony Sims' super middleweight, big puncher. He's going to be dangerous as well. Before we move on to week 4, and they said we couldn't stage a big fight behind closed doors. And be fair to Dillian White, hands up, he went, you know what, I'll fucking have it anywhere you want. So here, quite remarkable to think that here, Dillian White will fight Alexander Povetkin on this lawn. And for me, a brilliant heavyweight fight. We were just debating it in the office, you know, earlier on. You fancy Dillian White in that fight, but what you do know about Povetkin, good skills, great left hook, and, you know, Dillian White can be hit. He's been hurt before.
Can be hurt.
And when you look at the position that Dillian White is in terms of sitting right close to that mandatory shot, madness to be taking the fights that he keeps on taking.
It's crazy, but I said this before and I'll say it again, he just fights anyone, anywhere. And you can't do anything but tip your hat to Dillian White. He's a bit crazy the way he goes about it sometimes, but you can't help but admire he will just fight anyone, anywhere. He really will.
You fancy him?
I do, massively. I just think he'd be too big and too strong for Alexander Povetkin. As I say, it's tough with Povetkin because I just don't feel he's the same animal that he once was. And that's not diminishing or taking anything away, because he's beat some brilliant fighters, but he just looks like a different beast, Ed. And I just think Dillian White will just blast him. I really do. I think he'll hurt him immediately to the body, and then, you know, he will open himself up. The only thing he's got to be wary of is that counter left hook. Povetkin does throw a mean left hook. It's sly and sneaky the way he does it.
It's a big statement, though, to knock out Povetkin.
I just think he gets rid of Povetkin. I just think Dylan is... you can't grasp how big Dillian is until you stand with him. Because I was always thinking, after I beat David Hay, I was thinking, do I fancy a bit of a tussle with Dillian? And then I remember us standing, we were chatting somewhere, and I just thought, you are a proper lump. I mean, I'm just a blown up cruiserweight. and I thought, he's got to be 18, 19 stone walking around now, and that's on a good day for Dillian, to be honest.
Good, though. He's been training with lockdown. He's done about 3 months
in
of
Portugal.
Strength and conditioning. Looks in great shape. Looks like he's going to be. Obviously, he was heavy in Saudi when he boxed out there, but I think he's going to come in light and fresh for this.
He's been out in Portugal at a place that I've trained before, at Brown's. It's a fantastic facility. It's perfect for training camp. Nothing there, just peace and quiet, tranquility. It's perfect. So he'll go in there, and I just think he'll be on blob. You know, knowing Dillian White the way he prepared. Yes, I agree, he was in terrible shape in Saudi, but you've got to understand he'd been on that crazy show, the cook-off, whatever it was called, and basically Dillian had ate everything he'd cooked. And it's shown when he boxed, but ultimately that's what I say. Once again, even when he's not in shape, he's willing to fight anyone, Ed. And he just went in there. Helenius just couldn't deal with him. He just beat him up from pillar to post. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. But I just think Dillian White is long overdue a shot, and deserves it probably more than anyone in the world, to be honest. You know, he fought everyone, for former world champions when he didn't need to face them. He's faced #1 contenders. It's been crazy, the run he's been on, so he deserves this chance.
Well, as much of an honour to have White Povetkin here is as much of an honour to have Katie Taylor in this ring as well, which is going to be incredible. Luther Clay against Chris Congo. Just before we go, I want one more analysis from you of a really interesting heavyweight fight on the White Povetkin, which is Bellew against Kuzmin.
Yes.
You know, a real crossroads fight. Kuzmin, for a long time, people felt like he might be a player in the heavyweight division. Beat David Price, but lost to Michael Hunter in America. The same guy, of course, who beat Bellew as well.
Yes.
Your mind's not made up on Bellew, is it? We know he can fight, but you're not quite sure if he's a top-level heavyweight.
I've watched him a little bit, and I was massively unimpressed with his performance against Michael Hunter. I just thought he was lost. Michael Hunter showed him a bit of footwork and he didn't know what to do. He was like he was chasing a ghost. He just didn't know where he was, what to do, how to close him down. He looked lost. I think the thing with Kuzmin is he walks straight in and he's there to hit. Bellew is one of his greatest assets and strengths is his endurance. He can take it. I like shellacking, and I know the sparring stories I've heard, everyone who's moved with him and worked with him, you know, he is a right handful, but it's all well and good having that endurance in the gym with head guards and 16 and 18, 20 ounce gloves on. It's a completely different ball going with 10 ounce gloves on. I think he can get past Kuzmin, but I'll tell you something, it'll be a really hard fight. Kuzmin, slow feet, not the best, but very, very powerful. Very powerful. You know, he only...
And basically for him as well, last chance.
Crossroads for both. Crossroads fight for both fighters. It'll be interesting to see who's willing to put it on the line first, because that's what you get in these crossroads fights. You'll get two fighters walking to the ring, and this will be the first time in both of their careers that your career is on the line.
There's so many of those fights in fight.
And people
that's
don't.
What you want, though, isn't it?
That's what's the most important thing, as I say. And you'll see how fighters react. It's like AJ with Ruiz in the rematch in Saudi. For the first time in his career, the most pressure he's ever felt in his life is walking to the ring in Saudi, 110%. And I said this before, I think before that his biggest pressure will have been the London Olympic final. But when you're walking to the ring and you lose this, it's over basically. It's a different kind of pressure. And how do you perform under that pressure? We've seen what AJ done. How is Kuzmin, how is Bellew gonna perform under that pressure? Because they've had the blips now, both had losses. Another one is massively damaging.
Well, a couple more fights for week 4. Thank you, my friend. We look forward to it. It's only staff, officials, fighters and their teams, but as you are now, of course, a Matchroom ambassador, you class yourself as staff, and I'm sure you'll be up there in a window or something.
I like the look. I like the look of that middle window there open. You know, I'll borrow
a nice throne for you there.
I'll body
Barry's
shirt.
As the fighters finish, they'll look up to you, and it'll be a big.
Just a little one of them.
Don't miss it. Fight camp coming soon.